What's going on, beautiful people on the internet? Okay, so today I kind of want to talk. This is not a tutorial by any means, but I want to talk about what I do outside of YouTube when I'm not making YouTube videos. There's a lot of times I'm not making YouTube videos, but it doesn't mean I'm not picking up my camera. So today I'm using my A7 IV just because I refuse to buy an A7 V. And I have more Sony cameras than I don't have Sony cameras. So I like practicing with my Sony cameras. But anyways, I'm practicing lighting today. And this is actually one of the few things that I practice along with a few other ones I'll tell you about. Now, again, not a tutorial. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'll just give you some ideas of what I do when I'm practicing, right? So I'm practicing lighting today. One of my favorite softboxes, I guess if you can call it a softbox, is a lantern. I would say, if I can give you any advice, especially if you're starting out and you only can afford one light fixture, I would say if you only can afford one light fixture, which is the thing that the light comes out of, buy a lantern for a softbox. You can still shape the light with a softbox. With a lantern. You can still shape the light. You can narrow that light down to one point, and it works. You can do that, and you should learn how to do that. So, and the reason I say if you only can have one light fixture and you pick one softbox, use a lantern, is because you can do so much with it. It's flexible. So like you can light two people. You can have one thick light fixture and one softbox that's a lantern, and you can technically light two people. So it's good for people that are starting out, especially if you're trying to learn how to light scenes and stuff like that. But anyway, so yeah, this is what I'm doing on my off days or where I'm not actually making videos for people. I practice. So what do I practice? I practice lighting. On the occasion, I practice audio just because I'm kind of set with the audio, but it's still always good to make sure you're not rusty with it. And so you can recognize and make sure you hear certain things that you need to address, right? And again, there's certain microphones that you need to be using in certain situations, especially if you're not trying to have a bunch of work outside of shooting the video. But anyway, so yeah, I work on lighting, audio, composition, or framing, same thing. And then I actually work on like scene building. So when I'm doing composition and framing, those type of things, I work on the framing and scene building in the background, or just finding something that's balanced. You know what I mean? I kind of work on those two things together. But when it comes to lighting, here's what I like to do. I like to put myself in just different scenarios because you need to be able to think fast and handle any situations when you are out with a client, right? And that's typically what I do. So today, I'm not worried about composition, audio, none of that. I just have a simple DJI microphone. I'll try to clean up the audio when I'm done. But anyways, I'm working on just using a lantern. I'm not working on shaping lighting today, just because this is such a huge space right here. I don't mind the spillage of light. And being that I'm using S-Log3, this scene will probably be way darker than what I'm looking at on my screen right now. But typically what I like to do, I try my best to expose for any light that's in the background. So I'm intentionally wanting to shoot with these in the background right now. Again, it's not aesthetically pleasing because that's not what I'm working on right now. I'm just working on lighting. I'm working on balancing out the scene to where it can look as natural as possible. And that's kind of like what I do. I don't like things to look too artificial. So that's what I'm working on today. I have a practical back there, a light that has a B7C light in there. Anytime I go somewhere and I want to add some practical light, I never use their lighting because it almost always flickers and makes distracting little lines going up and down. I always bring my own. Now I do have a hair light back here that's probably in the right place. It's not in the right place. Again, I'm just practicing today. So I'll turn my main light off. So that is not light from those windows. That is an actual 100D back there. I probably would want it up a little bit higher and up on my head. So right now it's just hitting the back of my neck. But I don't know. I'm only seeing S-Log3, so it's hard to tell what it looks like. That's why I practice. So I practice things like that. I practice different lighting scenarios. When I do have family here with me, being that we all have different skin tone complexions, I practice with different skin tones as well. I think that is one of the most important things to practice, is understanding what light does to skin tones, like especially with melanated people, understanding that, hey, some light can be too harsh, even though it might be soft light. It appears to be soft light. Sometimes with different skin tones, you just need double diffusion. Like I will bring extra diffusion on top of my lantern or my softbox. Sometimes different skin tones need different diffusion. And those are the things that you have to be aware of when you're like making videos or you know, especially when someone's paying you to do something, you need to know. You don't want to get back into your editing software and realize that the skin is so shiny that it kind of is very distracting and it looks very unprofessional. So the key for me is working on making sure every single time that I make a video for anyone, no matter their skin tone, complexion, is making sure the light is soft as possible, making it look really, really nice, light, and things like that. Now, again, double diffusion, playing around with the location of the light, bringing it closer, the intensity, all those things matter, and all those things you need to practice, right? Learning how to use certain exposure tools, right? That's one of the things that I like to work on, because especially like false colors, I think that's like one of the most popular things for people, especially for people starting out, that they use, and I still use false colors to expose properly. Understanding false colors and understanding the different skin tones and where they fall on that little scale of the false colors is very important. So I practice that all the time. And when I can, what I do is if I have people interested in making videos, especially like friends, I practice on them a lot. Some of the videos that I've made in the past were people that I didn't charge. Why? Because I was practicing my lighting setup. I was kind of dialing in, because all these people have different skin tones. Not all of them, but a lot of them have different skin tones. And some of the guests that they would bring on, these are some of the things that I would do for free. Not everything, but I would love doing it for free, because again, I get access to different skin tones, and I feel like that's important. Understanding what skin tones do with different artificial lighting and things like that. So that's what I practice a lot. I do practice going outside. I have small diffusions that I have outside. I need to get larger ones. That's one thing that I'm working on. The only thing that I don't like about going outside is typically you need large diffusion, like the sheets, the big sheets and stuff. It's just not something that I've invested in quite yet. I want to, and I will, but typically I want to only take things that are inside. Not saying that I won't take something outside. If they're paying good enough, I'll buy the things that that I need. But everything that I've done so far has been inside, so it's worked out. So yeah, that's typically what I do on a regular basis. I practice quite a lot. I try to get my hands, or I try not to get my hands on, but I try to get access to people that will allow me to film them, and just try different lighting techniques, different angles, understand how to wrap lighting around a face. Those are things that I work on, that I actually do quite often. Although, I don't talk about these things and I don't show these things, because honestly, I just have a message when I want to make a YouTube video. I'm not really focused on lighting and stuff like that. Because a lot of people that do that are videographers that are making thousands of dollars a year, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, they're using their cell phones, right? They're using GoPros, because to be honest, YouTube is the afterthought. And that's kind of like where I'm at. Like, YouTube is an afterthought that I do just because I like doing it sometimes. And so, yeah, this is what I do. When I'm not making YouTube videos, I'm practicing my lighting. I'm practicing composition or framing. I'm practicing making sure, hey, my background looks good as well. That's one of the key things too. If you want to look professional, you want your videos to look professional, those are the key things you have to work on. Lighting, framing, and your background scenery. You know what I mean? Making sure the background is not distracting, make sure it looks good and it brings something to the image. Even if it just makes the overall image look aesthetically pleasing. So yeah, those are the things I work on every week when I have downtime, which I have a lot of downtime during the week because, again, I may not have said it or I may have said it. It's just me with my kids as far as picking them up. I'm the only one that picks them up. So I don't get the opportunity to take on more things unless it's just on the weekends. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next video. Go practice, go practice. Go practice your lighting. Go practice your framing and composition. Go practice building a background to make everything well balanced. You need to make sure your eyes stay sharp when it comes to these things. If you want to continuously be booked from different clients, yeah, you want things to flow. I guess that's my thing. You want things to flow very easily because you want to have already seen it. That's the key to practicing. You don't want to be surprised by anything. You want to, hey, I've seen this before. Boom, this is what you do. That's why you practice. That's how you make things look better. You constantly have to continue to practice. It's no different than a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer. There's always continuous education when it comes to those things. It's no different in videography or whatever you decide to be in. If you're strictly doing audio, if you're strictly doing lighting, if you're strictly behind the camera, it's no different. There's always continuous education that you have to be mindful of if you want to stay relevant. Anyways, okay. I'll see you guys in the next video. Hey, you know what? Before I go, I would be interested to know from some of these larger YouTubers, what do you do? You know what I mean? Especially like some of you videographers. Do you practice? Now, to me, I probably can answer that question. It's probably no. Because they have so many clients that they deal with every single day or a couple times a week. Or they're so busy, they pretty much like have their things dialed in, you know what I mean? This video is strictly for people that don't have it dialed in, you know what I mean? And that have not seen it all. That's who this video is for, okay? That's who this video is for those people that aren't dialed in, that have not seen it all, such as myself, and you have to constantly practice, okay? All right, peace. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.